your business at the Detroit iTech Show, and I'm going to talk to John Spalding of Healey Fire Protection. And John, thanks for taking a little time this afternoon.
You're welcome, Jim.
And let's talk about fire protection. What does Healey do?
What we do is we design and engineer and install clean agent fire suppression systems for high-value critical asset areas, server rooms, telecom rooms, where either the equipment value as well as the process that's being performed in these equipment rooms are high-value, high-asset that need protection. Protection that you over and above the water sprinkler system that's going to damage the equipment and interrupt your process. We design and install a clean agent system that is people safe, equipment safe, ozone friendly, and will not leave any residue or any mess upon discharge of the agent. The systems are designed to discharge into the room in under 10 seconds and to develop a concentration in the room that extinguishes the fire, but yet still allows you and I to be in that environment without any damage to us or to our equipment.
Now, the traditional story is that, the big Halon dump and all the IT people go running from the room so they don't get poisoned. Well, and these are huge and poisonous and expensive systems. But you're saying that's not really true anymore.
Well, and that's a misnomer with Halon, because I was the guy that stood in the Halon booth for EI DuPont, punched the canister, put out the fire on my arm, and didn't have any problems with that. I had 3 kids after the fact. They're all healthy and happy. So that was a misnomer as well. Halon was the first life-safe agent. What happened with Halon is it was found to be an ozone depleter. And the EPA, via the Clean Air Act of 1990, banned any virgin production of Halon 1301. Therefore, Halon systems went away. They're still in existence, they're still out there, and they can still be maintained. Unlike other countries, Australia and Europe, they have banned the systems and taken them out. With that, though, we needed to look for a replacement for Halon. The EPA developed a significant new alternatives product list for approved products, and that happened with FM200 as the first agent, and that was in 1993.
Let's look at this demonstration you've got, which is very cool.
Well, what we're demonstrating is not FM200, it is Novec 1230. It's manufactured by 3M. The reason we're not demonstrating FM200 is because it vaporizes so quickly. As soon as we would pour FM200 in here, it'd flash off and we'd be sitting here with an empty tank. This is Novec 1230. It is stored as a liquid, super pressurized with nitrogen. You can see this is a high voltage 120 volt monitor that's immersed in the Novec 1230 liquid, so it's a non-conductor of electricity. It puts out the fire with the vapor and the gas as we discharge it into the room, and the vapor is just on top of this tank, and it goes out and does not allow it to reignite. So the agent, upon discharge into the area, is going to develop a concentration that's going to extinguish the fire. We typically interlock to shut down powder of the equipment, and therefore we don't have any reflash or start up of the fire event again.
Now, systems. Let's talk about the size, because everybody's familiar with fire suppression systems only in big computer data centers.
True.
But they're come down in cost now that even smaller systems are affordable. Smaller
systems, depending, of course, on the cubic volume and the size of the room, but the smaller systems are typically $12,000 to $15,000 for a totally installed system that's going to protect a data room or a server room or telecommunications room that could be housing thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment, as well as thousands of dollars of process that's developed.
Well, of course, it doesn't take many servers to add them to $12,000 to $15,000 today.
Well, no, and it is able to put out the fire and not cause any damage. If the fire goes off with a sprinkler system, you're going to get a lot of water into your equipment, and it's going to damage a lot of equipment.
Water doesn't do well with computers.
No, not typically.
So, how small? You even said you had you can put these in a contained rack system if you have something that's small.
I have done a storage tech type tape library, but in that event, because we have to rely on building up a concentration of agent, I had to come up with an extended discharge for that particular hazard. What we do is we discharge an initial concentration into the unit, shut down the power to the equipment, and then extend the discharge for another 3 minutes. Cost goes up for the cost of the agent and the system, but we're allowed to protect that single piece of equipment.
And that brings up to a good point, because the cost of the fire suppression agent and delivery system is one thing. The cost of interlocking it with your fire alarm system and your electrical power to shut that off,
True.
that adds to the cost.
Yeah, and it's a total project cost that you have to look at in terms of related work type activities. What that means is that the control panel for the release of the FM200 system is monitored typically by the building fire alarm system. That could be any number of brands, and they have their own modules that have to be wired into our system relay contacts. Also, the levered or air handling units in the room need to be interlocked for shutdown. And typically, if the room has an emergency power off push button system, that circuit or that circuitry is incorporated into the shutdown of the or discharge of the FM200 system or the Novec system through a discharge pressure switch that kills the power only upon the discharge of the system.
So the alarm goes off, or whatever the monitoring system, there's a fire recognized, the system discharges and shuts off the power right there.
Correct.
And then supposedly everybody walks away, and you have a little bit of cleanup, but you don't have a pool of water where you're serving.
You're really not going to have you have minimal cleanup, if at anything. There's no oil, no residue with the agent itself. It's totally free.
So now's a good time for people to think about putting fire suppression systems in smaller installations?
It's a very good time to look at what the process is performing for the end user, for the owner, and what that value is. Then comparing and judging that with the cost of the system to know that you're protected 24 hours a day, 365.
Well, and like we said, it doesn't take many servers that up to $15,000 or $20,000.
Not many at all.
Well, great. This has been John Spalding with Healey Fire Protection, Inc. How do people find your website?
We are at www.healeyfire.com. HEALEY fire.com.
Great. This has been James Gaskin with Technology is Broken, how to fix IT for your business. At the Detroit iTech Show, we're looking at a pool of fire suppression agents and a monitor sitting in that pool, happily clean one. Thanks for watching.